Very personal question. If you knew that you were going to die today, would you look back over your life and be really happy with all the things that you've done, all the experiences that you've had? Have you been healthy, fit and strong? Have you had a career or business that you love? Have you been on track to being financially free, or you are? Do you have great people in your life? And they're the 4 questions that I always ask every day and the things that I study every day. And I'm asking those questions for a very personal reason. We had a very close call, my gorgeous husband and I. We were driving on a 100-kilometre-an-hour road in New Zealand, and 2 very large deer jumped in front of us. And because my husband is a martial artist and has exceptional reaction skills, we didn't die. It was by milliseconds that we didn't die. We could have been dead on the road, and I wouldn't be standing here today. And I'm not being melodramatic. I'm being very positive and excited. Because I'm alive. That's awesome. But we're all going to die, aren't we? Life is a terminal illness. None of us are going to get out of it alive. And how long we have, who knows? So you could have an accident today and die. So I'm going to ask the question again. If you did die today, are you happy with your life? Because most people, and the reason I share this, because people share it with me, they just exist through their life. So what do you love to do? What are you excited about? What are you passionate about? What do you like to eat? Where would you like to go? What would you like to experience? A lot of people say, I wish I could, and if I had, and maybe I will. But very few people can say, I did. So that's how I've always lived my life, because I've always understood that we're going to die. That's been a really interesting part of my personal life experience. And I'm also aware that people die every day, some young and some very, very old. But a lot of people die unhappy because they haven't done the things that they want to do. So this is my very personal question, because so many people are miserable, grumpy, angry about the way their life is at the moment. But what are you doing about it? If that is your life, what are you going to do to change it? If you were to look back over your life, let's say you've got another week, another 2 months, another 2 years, what will you do in that time to make sure that your life is exactly the way you want it to be? And it's a really interesting thing, because that requires decisions, it requires planning, it requires critical thinking. Or will you just exist and hope that life's going to get better? Because isn't it interesting that a lot of people do that too? Maybe one day I will, if I win the lotto, if I get a better job, when I lose weight, I'll be happier. Well, what about the things that you can do today to make sure that your life is great today? And I always love my life, and I always have, and I appreciate waking up every morning, and I go to bed at night thankful that I've had a great day. But I've I could be dead. And I'm obviously very grateful to my husband for his excellent reaction skills. I cannot express to you how close we came to not being here. And it was interesting because we just kept saying all the way home, obviously we had a massive adrenaline rush. And we just kept saying, isn't it interesting? It's easy to say we're alive, but we could be dead. And I don't want to harp on that fact, but we're all going to die. What are you going to do so that you don't just have a boring, ordinary life? And why would you want to have a boring, ordinary life is probably my question. More importantly, if you have children, would you want your children to live your life? And I always ask that question. Do you want your kids to look at your life and say, I want to be as healthy and fit and strong as my mum and dad? I want to have a career or business like my mum and dad, because they're so passionate about what they do. I want to have the financial success that my parents have got. Not that they give me the money, but they give me the skills, or I go and learn the skills to be financially free so that I don't have to be controlled by money. And isn't that what happens to most people's lives? Because they don't have enough money, the lack of money controls their feelings, their emotions, the way they live their life. I always ask this question. If you are financially free, it means you can live your life exactly the way you want to. Wouldn't it be nice to go to any shop and be able to buy whatever you want to without having to look at the price tag? Wouldn't it be nice to experience all the things in life there are to experience without having to say, I can't afford it? And I'm sharing that because so many people share with me, I don't like my life because I don't have enough money. I've got lousy, stinking people in my life. I hate my job. I'm really fat. I'm depressed. I'm angry. They're all things that we can change. They're all choices. So on a beautiful day like today, and I come outside and obviously just go, wow, I get to experience today again. I'm here for another day. Isn't that awesome? I want to make sure that I take full advantage of this 24 hours and the next 24 hours if I get those, and then the next 24 hours if I get those. So most importantly, how can you enjoy life if you're not fit and strong? How can you enjoy life if you're not healthy? How can you enjoy life if money's controlling your life? How can you enjoy life if you've got a lousy, stinking, rotten job that you have to go to 5 days a week and you wake up thinking, I wish I didn't have to go? So however you're living at the moment, if you're a happy, positive, solution-finding optimist, congratulations and thank you, because you're living the example for other people. But if you are unwell, if you're unhealthy, if you're unfit, if you're out of shape, if you've got a lousy, stinking, rotten job, if you don't have enough money, if you've got lousy, stinking people in your life, could it be time to change all of that? So that when you wake up every day, you can say, I'm so excited to be alive and I'm so grateful that I've got another day. And whether I get one more day or I live to 120, 130, 140, which barring accident is my plan. And isn't that interesting, barring accident? 2 deers can run onto the road and you could be gone. And all of the things that you've planned and hoped for are all gone. So live today and enjoy every single day. Get out into the fresh air and sunshine so that you can live your life to the max. Doop-a-doop-a-doo, how are you? Living my life to the max every single day. Woohoo!